Welcome back, everyone. It's December 2018 Business Forum as recorded here with R.J. Murdoch, and I'm honored to have not only our 2018 Chair of the Board, Nick Chubb, who we just heard from, but special guest, Bill Roberts from Barnes Insurance and Financial Services is here, our 2017 Chair. How's it feel to be back in the cozy confines of the studio, Bill?
I like it. I always like doing this show. It's a lot of fun. You get a lot of good guests on here, but it's a great way to get our message out, too.
And we wanted to get you in because you roll off. We call past chair, which means you roll off.
You're a has-been.
I've known that for a long time, but I appreciate you bringing it back up.
So how much fun, Nick, you obviously county commissioner and mayor of Fort Walton, you being city council member. What's the combination between being the chamber and knowing how the government works in the community?
I mean, a government agency takes a lot of moving parts to make it happen, as we talked in the first segment. The chamber has equally many moving parts, and you still have to go through some of the same personality issues and procedural issues with both a chamber and municipal government role.
There you go. So Bill, you have been, as I mentioned, you've been mayor, you've been county commissioner, and now chair of the Chamber of Commerce last year. Which is your most favorite of all three of those?
Oh, my God.
Here comes the bus.
Of course we know it's your chair, but no. You've had a lot of variety of fun serving our community.
Well, people are involved in all three of those things you talked about, and that's a good part of all those three jobs.
Right.
Is involvement. It might be a little different, the involvement you have as a county commissioner or as a mayor versus the chamber.
Right.
But you still, you're there, you're trying to build a consensus and do the right thing, and, it's kind of intertwined there.
Absolutely. Now, you didn't get a first pitch, though, as mayor or at the Blue Wahoos that you did at the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Well, that's true, and after that first pitch, I wish I could take it back.
Well, you did get the hockey puck, too.
Okay.
Well, I got the hockey puck. Throwing the first pitch, I think I came closer to hitting the mascot than home plate.
But it was fun. So, Nick, we could talk all day about the fun of the chamber. But what are some of the things as you look back on your year and your history of the chamber, being the 10 or 12 years we've talked about here? Some of the highlights.
Well, it's working with the members. I mean, as Bill was starting to allude to, you're working, whether it's municipal, mayoral, or chamber, you're really working for the people. You're trying to improve the situations, and long story, but that's basically what I get out of my chamber involvement is the community improvements or the chamber improvements that we do. I like to, as said in the first segment, give back to the communities that I live in, and both of these are ways to do that.
Nice. And Bill, as you look back on at least 2017 as the chair of the chamber, and certainly you're involved with this year as past chair, some of the highlights for yourself, community-wise. Let's talk about some of the community things that you're most proud that we've accomplished.
Well, I think it's got to be the surtax that just passed under Nick's leadership, but that conversation started really when Tammy was chair and came through us, and to watch that thing grow and to realize what this chamber can do when it puts its mind behind it and the people behind it, we got to hang our hat on that, because that's a great accomplishment for our county and our communities.
Yeah, I mean, we had Graham and Carolyn Ketchel at our breakfast today thanking the community. Nick, I mean, 63% of the population was listening.
Absolutely. And I'll add on to the sales tax initiative, which was monumental, the bridge right here. That is something that I think stands out in the 5-year time frame as being one of the most significant things this chamber has ever done. Yeah,
so the bridge is funded, fully funded, and it's going to start in about 4 years, everyone. We'll be done in 7, but as Nick is mentioning, it is done. There's no more debate. There's no more conversation. It's just now kind of doing paperwork, I guess, from the FDOT standpoint, and they were very pleased with how the chamber and the community helped them achieve that. Now, that was a 5-year goal, certainly for Nick. In this case, Bill, the Around the Mound, you talked about the early 90s. Let's talk about that and where that's headed.
Well, it's headed in the right direction finally. Back in the 90s when the council bought the 6 acres downtown, That's what we wanted to see. We wanted downtown to be a true downtown. You know, I'll use Pensacola as an example, what they've done over there. But Round the Mountain is going through the Regional Training Board. It's going through the state DOT. And, you know, I think through our efforts, through our pushing,
Right.
that's going to be a reality.
Yeah, and they're doing the feasibility study in 2019. Is it worth it? The community's talked about it for 25 years. Is it feasible, I guess, and that's why it's a feasibility study. So another unbelievable advancement for downtown. And Nick, one of the highlights of year to year has to be the moving of the Gulf View. How fun was that?
That was spectacular. It's not often you get to see a building that barely fits between the poles move down the street at a snail's pace.
Yeah. And
You know, excuse me, but that night is what I envisioned when Round the Mountain happened.
Yeah.
We'd be able to close down 98. The excitement that night was unbelievable.
Having Imogene up on the roof
Yeah,
playing,
I mean-
everybody walking around.
Yeah, thousands of people downtown.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is. It could be not be more exciting, and it's going to open in February. The city of Fort Walton Beach is now funding it. There's a guy named Rick Roush from R Construction who's in there fine-tuning everything, and the community is going to love it. There'll be a big grand opening sometime in February. But saving the old house, and I congratulate both of you for having that stamina, because there were in the community some who said, no, let's just knock it down. Just doesn't make sense.
It's only history.
Yeah, really, it's only the oldest, probably the oldest building in our area. And
So
we weren't going to let it be knocked down.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for both of you as well as the board for having that. The determination was best for the community, because there were people out there who said, as I just mentioned, knock it down. Wonderful. When it opens, nobody could ever think that. It's absolutely spectacular. We have that. You know, one of the other things is talk about Impact 100, Nick, because you both have been involved in that board as your association. Talk about that, the Impact 100.
Well, I mean, what do you say about an organization that in such a short time has contributed so much to this community? And, you know, $100,000 grants, $500,000 grants, and thankfully, One Hopeful Place this year was selected to be a recipient of one of those grants, and that's going to be transformational to get phase 2 completed out there for our homeless initiative that we, again, started here at the Chamber 5, 6, 7 years ago now.
Yeah, probably closer to 10 or 12 from the very beginning, but getting into the meat of actual property 5 or 6 years ago. Under the leadership of Lisa Jo and yourselves. So lots of cool things accomplished, Bill, by checking off these generational changes in our community. And I know someone like yourself who's lived here your whole life, it's got to be pretty exciting.
It's very exciting. I tell you, I go back and look at old pictures of Fort Walton Beach and just think about the memories, and now there are going to be memories made here with the things that we've helped create. You know, it's
wonderful. And I want to share this, Nick. I think we've talked about this, but we're doing a Fort Walton Beach historical documentary that Ryan Christian from RGC Media is filming right now, and they have interviewed Mr. Roberts and some of his cronies
Stars
about the old
born.
days. Yeah, and some good stories in this documentary. It's going to be a great encapsulation of the history of Fort Walton, which is really cool. So we only have a couple more minutes. I said we could talk all day. So let's start with you, Bill, on some of your favorite chamber things, just chamber things that you like.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Nick for his year. You know, the most important thing about Nick, he's a gentleman. And it's easy to follow a leader like that who gets everybody involved. Everybody wants to do their best for his thoughts and his ideas. So it's been a great year.
Thank you.
You know, I'll always talk about the chamber as I never thought it could be what it is until I got involved. And I'll say that to the members. If all you do is go to the first Friday coffee, you need to do more, because it's really good for your soul. They're just such great people down here.
Nick, how many people have you met as a result of your membership of the chamber?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds. Couldn't even count them. And a lot of them have become very close friends. You know, that's kind of what Bill's saying here just a minute ago. You know, the more you get involved, the more you're going to appreciate what we've got.
There you go.
And, you know, it's the members and members helping members. Look at some of our committees like RPM, just phenomenal networking opportunities and friendship building.
And certainly we've talked about the advocacy that's happened and the friendships, but ultimately, gentlemen, are you getting business from it? Is Barnes Insurance getting business from your membership in the Fort Walton Beach Chamber?
Absolutely. You know, instead of Bill Roberts, they know I was last year the chair of the chamber, you know, that opens doors. It lets me be able to talk to more people, and just through the connections we've met
Right.
at the chamber, it helps.
That's
Believe me, it
wonderful.
helps.
And Cabinet Russ, we chatted about that earlier.
Absolutely. You know, I'm not a high pressure salesman, and I get business, I won't say monthly, but I get business definitely through the chamber, just from associations and people getting to know me. And that's what we try to promote, is, you know, doing business with members.
All right. Well, it's a wonderful thing. Bill, anything else you want to wrap up? This is your last opportunity perhaps to be on the show here in 2018 as the past chair. Closing remarks.
Please stay. don't go to North Carolina. Stay. Come on, one more year.
We have had some great friendships, Nick. Both Bill and I certainly consider ourselves good friends of Nick and Janet Chubb. We've enjoyed having them here. Nick, anything else you want to wrap up? And I'm going to talk about your installation banquet in just a minute.
Well, I could dump all the accolades on Bill, having to follow in his footsteps. But the reality is, I mean, we've got a great group of mentors here as leaders. And I think we reach out to them for some guidance as we go through things. And I couldn't be happier than my time here.
It's been an absolutely wonderful ride for the Chamber, for our community, et cetera. On Friday, January 4th, everyone, of 2019, the first Friday, we're having our installation breakfast, our annual installation breakfast, where Nick Chubb will chat about his review of his year and give away some awards, which are always fun, including the little teddies, the bobbleheads, which are just crazy fun. Bill, you had fun with that last year.
I gave my wife a teddy, and unfortunately she's got it in our bedroom, so I have to look at that, your picture, your teddy, every night before I go to sleep.
Will you insert one of those pictures of RJ
Yes.
with the teddy?
Yes.
Like you ever get one over there? RJ got one. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a great way of recognizing our community. But Friday, January 4th, sponsored by Venture, is our installation banquet where Nick says farewell, and we introduce our 2019 chair, Matt Turpin from Bank of England Mortgage, who couldn't be here today. So once again, everyone, what a great year we've had. I want to thank Bill Roberts and Nick Chubb for their wonderful assistance, not only to the Chamber of Commerce, but to our community, gentlemen. And our friendship has been wonderful. I love working with you folks. And we love working with everyone in the community, folks. And thanks to RJ Murdoch and Cox Cable for showcasing each and every month the Business Forum. So I wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Feliz Navidad, and Happy New Year as you're planning 2019. We just wish you the best of times. It's going to be a great year in Fort Walton Beach. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next year.